installing the balance shaft front supports here, and I just wanted to do a quick little. Again, my how-tos aren't really that specific. Like, I'm not going to do the whole time-lapse thing because there's plenty out there. So mine's just, you know, the little extras that maybe they're missing out, or I couldn't find any specific info on other than pictures and stuff. So first things is, here's the O-ring that you have to install on the back part of it, and it actually protrudes quite a bit. But once you do that, then this guy will slide right in, and you can kind of tighten it up to the back there. I believe it's 15 foot-pounds torque. See this guy right here? It's called onion skin or little mylar gasket. This guy sits flush right there. So once you put the support in that I just showed you, then you put the new one in. Now that's the old one there. I just wanted to show you, and you have to really look. The way I could tell that it was still on there is because right here, and I'm gonna clean it up a little bit more, but right here it looked like it had like a little like a little gasket right there, because on one of them it had kind of like melted in place right there. So you got to make sure you clean that side of it first, because that from what I'm reading really affects how well it sits flush against that. So here's the new ones here, and then in the front you order some flanges here, and then the seal. Now I was noticing something really weird. So I ordered 3 of the exact same flange because they're all the same size, and you put one in the front, one in the top, one down there at the bottom, and then you're also going to use one here on the camshaft. But so I grabbed the first one and I tried to put it on, and see that it's kind of tight, but on the bottom one it kind of slid right through. So I thought there was a problem with it, so I went and I grabbed one of the older ones, and this guy just, when you put it on there, oops. Okay, so it's got like a little ridge right there, and I thought, well, that's kind of strange. And then I opened all 3 that came in, and I found one that for some reason it's kind of worrying me, but when I put it on, it just slides right in. Weird. So that's just, you know, don't force anything on. Luckily, this one slides right in. For some reason, the other one doesn't. I don't know if maybe it's just machined slightly different, but I noticed that the other one did fit the bottom one and the camshaft, and this one did too. So that's just a quick tidbit, a little tip there. So if you order all 3, don't force them through. Don't assume just because it's one that it's there. So as you can tell, I just tried a separate one, and lo and behold, fits perfectly. So, and I went on and checked, and online and checked, and no, there isn't a difference. They're all the same size. So luckily, like I said, it fit pretty nicely on the other ones. So we're gonna get to that. There's all the parts that I ordered. Also my little new oil pump drive sleeve there. Like I said, it's gonna be a full engine reseal. Aside from that, that's pretty much it. The bottom one, when we get to that one, I might do a quick little video on anything weird that I find, but aside from that, we'll be okay. Now this guy here, I'm still trying to figure out how to do, because this bolt has to go in with quite a bit of torque, and everybody recommends doing it with a impact wrench. And man, I mean, the angle is just horrible. And let's face it, you don't have compact impact wrenches, or at least I don't have one, but I'm a little worried about using a swivel bolt, especially because it's got that little what is that, a little cheesehead 12 star, I think it is. But regardless, we'll see where that goes. I'm just trying to put these guys on so I can get some cleanup going. So just wanted to give that update on these little mylar guys right there. And look, it went flush again. And let me just try to, this guy is just a pain in the butt to get off. Regardless, there you go. So again, it goes O-ring, as I showed you guys on the support there. So it goes O-ring first to put it back on. You put this in and you tighten it up, and then you put the mylar or the onion skin, and then you put the flange, and then you put the seal. Now I've seen some people actually put everything together, and I'm a little worried because it looks like it might do it, but we'll figure out. So just wanted to kind of show what here is the bottom balance shaft support or housing placed on there. Over here is where the power steering would be. regardless, so once you get in here, it's only those 3 bolts right there. So you see those 1, 2, and 3. And once this is on, and of course at the very back I already showed where the O-ring goes, then you have to put this little mylar onion skin like I was showing. And see how that's kind of empty there. So I am going to just grab the flange and use that to kind of push it back into shape. Once that's there, then you put the seal on. Did a video. I'm not sure if I'm continuing this one or just a separate one. And this is these gaskets that you need for the upper portion. We're not talking about the crankshaft. You got the camshaft, upper balance shaft, lower balance shaft. Now, if you notice here, these are the same part numbers. And this, the camshaft and the upper balance shaft are both 30 by 47. However, the bottom one, and I wish, that's why I'm showing the part number, the bottom balance shaft is actually 30 by 48. So I just want to kind of show that really quick, the seals that that you have to use for these guys. So make sure you pay close attention to that. These two are interchangeable, which is again the camshaft and the upper balance shaft. But the bottom balance shaft has to be the 30 by 48. Don't make that mistake. Otherwise, gosh, like I said, all that stuff that you're doing. Number one, a method that I found works really well with these type of seals. And so what I did was I grabbed the old seal, and there's the flange. And as you can tell, I'm already kind of going through there. And I put the old seal on top, and I use my hands. I'm not going to do it right now because I want to make sure it's even, but I use both my hands, and I put 3 fingers on each side. And what I do is I spin it while applying pressure, and slowly while I'm applying pressure. And as I'm doing that, it slowly pushes it in. Now I also have this little piece of wood that I use when I think it's going to be probably for the front crankshaft seal. But I was noticing on this, it's a little bit smoother. So you apply a thin coat of oil on the outside of the main seal. You grab the old seal on the flange, and then like I said, you just put some fingers on there, and you just very slowly just twist it as you're pushing in. And as you're doing that, it inserts the seal as it needs to, and it seats it pretty nicely. The advantage of that too is every once in a while it grips it just slightly, and as it spins it, it kind of like just puts it right into place. Sometimes I find that when you're tapping, if it's just a little bit off, it tends to just kind of, you know, push to the side and bend the seal. But when you do it this way, it even kind of spins it a little bit. So anyways, you know, try at your own risk. It's worked well for me, and that's why, like I said, I'm doing it here. So again, just the old seal, just kind of put it in there, and it should align quite nicely. Here we are doing the front crankshaft seal, and as you can tell, that one made me nervous. But so I drilled a small hole on each side, and then I put some wood screws, and you get them in nice and snug, but not too much. And I don't know if I can do it with my hand, but let me see here. This guy's kind of tight. To be able to do it on camera, but so the easiest thing to do is just grab some pliers and then slowly just pull on this. And I don't know if you can tell, but it looks like that guy's already coming out just a little bit. And you just keep pulling it until this guy comes off. So let me try to get some pliers, and maybe I'll show this again once I get a little bit of a pop on there, and just make sure these guys are nice and snug so that they don't come out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so I'll try to update this in just one sec. All right, so as you can tell, it's coming out a little bit more. And so what I basically did is grab some needle nose, and I put a small rag right here, but since it's just about to pop out, because you don't want to damage this guy here, but essentially you just grab this guy here, and using that as a leverage, you just, there we go. So your head popped off a minute ago. Just kind of wanted to show everybody how to take that seal, and see the screws just barely. That one I'm gonna have to double check, but as you can tell, they sat right on the inside of that groove there. So you gotta be really careful. You gotta make sure you get the right size screws there. You can just measure them up against the other seal that you have to make sure that you're not overdoing it. That's pretty much it. Hopefully that helps. Along the same grounds, I already popped it out just a little bit. But essentially, that's the oil pump drive gear. And what you need is to grab big old channel locks here and just barely grab the edge and pop it out. Once you do, this guy will slide out and you just kind of want to work it. Since this is the old one, since I'm replacing it, I'm going to use this one to kind of clean it up. So I've spun it around a couple of times there, and maybe I'll probably slide it back and forth just a little bit just to help it do some cleanup here. And I don't know if you can see that, but there is also this little spacer slash washer, and it's, see that? It's kind of like concave there, and that fits right in front of it. So you got to make sure you don't lose that guy there. And we're gonna clean that up just a little bit, but there's your oil pump drive gear. And again, just with some big channel locks, you can get that guy right out. So let me clean that up a little bit in there. See if we can't make that look a little bit better. Do a video on how I was installing the front crankshaft seal, and this is the timing sprocket. So what I did is first I flipped this guy around, and see, I put the old balance shaft seals here, and then just use the regular nut here. I had a separate spacer to get in there, that way I don't have to push it in as much. And I just do it very slowly. So I turn this guy really slowly, and it pushes it in. First I use the flat one because it's got like a groove on the inside, so it holds it in place and it doesn't let it sit around. And this gives it just enough give to where, give, because sometimes if you use just a solid one, even though it's going in, if it bends with it. However, with this little cushion here, if it gives, it allows it to kind of pop in place and kind of puts it in. Now, you have to take your time. So once you start feeling a little bit of tension, you just kind of do like quarter of a turn, just kind of wait like 10 seconds, then another quarter of a turn, you know, and then just kind of keep going. And then I went in about halfway the seal, then I pulled it back out. And then I went in again. And then now it's almost flush. So now I grab this guy, flip it around to where it's flat, and there's just a little bit of give right there. And so I'm gonna get this guy, push it all the way in, and make sure it's nice and smooth there, nice and tight right at the end before I install the oil pump drive gear. So just kind of letting everybody know that that's how I do it. And again, I really like the give and the firmness of the old right, so the camshaft seal. So I was having kind of a problem with it, but I decided to get the this is for the balance shaft sprocket, and I figured, and so far it's been doing quite well. And all I did was I got the camshaft bolt, the old one, the new one, and a big washer, and I've been kind of doing it this way here, and it's been working quite well. Fortunately, I need both hands, I think, to do this. Let's see. Let's get it in there. And I usually like to go and let it get in there about 10 seconds. And then do another quarter turn or half turn, just so we're not killing it. So that seems to be working there. Engine has been sealed. Everything is looking good. I left the front cover off because I just wanted to check the alignment on the balance shaft, so I was a little bit worried about that. And the slack there, just want to make sure that looks okay. Even cleaned up the J-boot a little bit there. But I'm going to be taking the airbox off because, unfortunately, I noticed when I was assembling it that unlike this side that has this little grommet or some kind of a spacer there, rubber spacer, probably for the vibration here of the air filter box, this side was completely eaten up. I mean, one side unscrewed it the first time, it came off and popped off. So once again, thank goodness for parts car. So this is my parts car here. I went and I pulled it off of it really quick, and notice this guy's intact. So I'll be pulling this spacer and installing it here. But this is a good time to kind of show a little bit more of this clip that I was talking about here. And it's got a C-clip that goes all the way around, and this guy here actually resides inside those grooves right here. And this is what I was mentioning. Now I got this pick here, but I mean, it's just the easiest way to do it. Some people say a screwdriver, you push it out, and what I do is I usually seat it on this side. See, there's a little groove on that side. The clip goes here, but I set it on this side. I do it to both sides. Honestly, I was really surprised I was able to get both sides. Most time you do one side, and the other side you just got to pop it off, and then you'll see it kind of hanging over. That's enough. You just got to be really careful. But once you've done that, then the clip just comes right off. And then all you do is you put it back on. back on a line there. See that? And if you've ever had one of these pop off on you, my goodness, good luck finding it. I don't know. With me, it's horrible. Horrible. I hate these little bastards. Regardless, after we've done that, the MAF, so she's all sealed this up. Side. Started her a few times, ran around the block a couple times as well. We'll be going for a test drive here pretty soon, but I just wanted to show everyone. So what's left is to also keep an eye on your balance, your timing belts, okay? So I put the car in neutral, and then I go to my marks that I made. Notice how they line up right there. So that's on the front of the crankshaft pulley and on the frame, on the cover. That tells me that she's lined up. Now I tried to get a video of the actual inspection hole in the back there, but after I put all the lines back into place, it's kind of difficult to see. So I couldn't zoom in. I'm not gonna, but hopefully you guys will trust me on that. Okay, and now see the advantages of these markings that I made. So see, the front cover is pointing directly on that notch. So I know that that upper balance shaft is in line. So now we've confirmed the crankshaft, the crank, and the upper balance shaft. I checked on bottom as well, but see that little blue mark right there? I don't know if you guys can make it out. That pointing straight up from the top view tells me that it's lined up as well. Now, if I went down there and got the camera, it would also line up, which I double checked, but I was just kind of showing you guys why. That tells me. So I trust myself enough to know, okay, that marking tells me that. The last place to check is through the inspection hole in here. And let's see if this got lined up. There we go. So there's the other mark that I made. So there we go. There's your 4 points that have to line up, and they are. So we're gonna start her up, take it for a nice little spin, and enjoy it one more time. Now you should be doing this when you get new belts. You should probably be checking them once a week for the first month, at least just to make sure that these points stay lined up. After which you're looking at once a month, maybe more, maybe, you know, wait like 3 months or so. Regardless, as you can tell, by doing this method, most of the time you only have this guy you can check out to take the cover off. But by doing this and making a couple little inspection holes in the front cover with this similar plug that I just took off here, which I just made holes in the front cover, very similar to this. This guy just pops in place. You can make these checks, you make these inspections within seconds. So, anyways, those are my tips for keeping an eye on your timing. Hope that helps a couple of you people. I told a couple of people as well, hey, let's keep these guys on the road, huh? All right, wish you guys luck. May your engine be sealed. May your power steering never leak. May your fuel tank not be defective. And may your DME relay always be functional. One of the two. Those of you guys who got that, that's your 944 blessing for the day. Have a great one.